Everything has to come to an end, no matter how great, and so it is the same for the SIMCRO Short Track Championship as we have reached the final race of the season. After dropping the green flag for the first time only 4 weeks ago, Chris Cower was the man who won it in the Legends. In the street stock and late model, Max Cookson showed pure dominance and was the first to win 2 races. Not as dominant in the margin of win, he also managed to be the victor in the SK Modified to mark 3 wins back to back to back. So after a doubleheader last weekend with the SK and the Superlight model, the question is who can finish off this season strong. Join in and find out as we get ready to watch the final round of the SIMCRO Short Track Championship live here on the global SimRacing channel. The crew to give you all the stats and storylines today will be John Ambrose, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. To make the Ambrose double trouble perfect, we have Sean Craigs Ambrose, turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes. And obviously not to forget, he's using cameras provided by the ever so great Dougie Beard. Good day to you, John. I always feel the last race of a season is the hardest race, because everyone wants to finish the season on a strong note. What is your take on today's challenges?
Well, Stefan, that's a great analogy. Everyone does want to finish on a strong note. This racetrack, these guys have a battle on their hands for this evening's race. Look for these guys to beat and bang on this 200 lap race event. We're here tonight at Pensacola, Florida, at the famed Five Flags Speedway. This 4-turn half-mile track is notorious for fast action, fast speed, and major wrecks. Hopefully we don't have the latter tonight. But for a look, let's take a quick lap around this famed track in the GSRC NASCAR Whelen Modified.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yasek, taking you for a spin around Five Flags Speedway in the GSRC SK Modified. Without further ado, here we go. Floating it out here into turn 1, getting it right down to the bottom, letting the vehicle rotate, catch a little bit of that line, driving it straight out of the corner, not all the way out to the fence. You might as if trying to set something up into turn 3, but turn 3 you let it float in, maybe catch a little bit of the apron to help it turn, drive it straight off of there, out towards the wall, floating it down here into turn 1. You don't have a whole lot of time to rest here at Five Flags. Really separates the men from the boys. Off of the exit of the corner, down the back stretch, once again down here to turn 3. You might try to some braking, or you might try and just let off the gas and let it rotate. Either way, the way to do it, across the line. And that's going to complete our guide here around Five Flags Speedway. I'm Brian Yasek. Enjoy the show.
And there you have it. There's a lap around what we're going to see this evening. Obviously, that was during the day, and here we are this evening. It is 79 degrees on the track right now, 76.5 degrees ambient temperature. We have winds coming out of the north at 7.5 miles an hour. But first, let's take time to thank our sponsors and our other people that make this possible. Attention, all iRacers. We found a way to get you all on the same boat. Take a cruise with us to celebrate the new year. That's right. Sail out of Miami with us on January 5th, 2020 for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas. Special group pricing has been put in place for iRacing members and their friends. Sail away and get together with members of the iRacing community and get ready to see Phillipsburg, St. Martin, San Juan on Puerto Rico, and Labadee, Haiti. For as little as $125 a day, you can cruise the high seas for 7 days. And for a small deposit, you can secure your spot today. Payment plans available for everyone. Contact Brenna today at the cruise shop to get in on this special offer. Email Brenna at brenna@thecruiseshopfw.com. But do it now, as spots are filling quickly. Go on over to their Facebook events page with all the details about this amazing offer. Facebook.com/Cruise Shop FW. We'll see you on board.
Every time this makes me want more and more to go on that boat. But another boat that we have to go on today is the race details. And as already mentioned a few times, today marks the last race of the season, the 4th week, and the 6th round of 6 rounds. Tour modified today, as we mentioned, 250 laps, open setup as always, one lucky dog, or one lucky driver gets a lucky dog if the caution comes out, one fast repair if they need it, they can use that. So once again, they have a T-car if needed, and as always, no incident limit whatsoever for these guys, so they can, I would nearly say, go crash away, but hopefully we're not gonna see a little bit of a crash derby here today. I think actually SK Modified race was so far the race with the most cautions, of being 3 cautions in the race. So yeah, hopefully Modifieds stay cleaner and give us some good action today. But yeah, let's also not forget about our other sponsors which make this league possible. For example, Next Phase Electric, California's energy efficiency specialist. Offering air conditioning, insulation, smart home technology, solar and much more, Next Phase Electric is dedicated to lowering your energy cost. Big thanks goes out to them for helping putting up this great show over the last few weeks and also today. And in the background you can see the cars circulating already for quite a while. They are still in the practice, about 3 minutes left in the practice session, and on top we have the 771 of John Minotto, about a full 10th ahead of Chris Forster and Joshua Banks in 3rd place.
Yeah, John Minotto, he's certainly setting the pace here. But I tell you what, Chris Foster, he's making changes to that wheel and modified car. Keep in mind, these guys are able to make changes now. Some may have qualifying setups and have a faster pace during qualifying, but I think you're going to look for these drivers to look for long run setups, considering we have a 250 lap race event this evening.
A little bit of racing already going on here between Jeff Dooley and Brandon Purtle. Now going into turn 1. Oh, Purtle hardly to the wall, and Dooley spins out, hitting that wide line. And no, actually, that was on a bump. That's something you don't see very often. But I imagine, John, once again, it is going to be so much about not hitting that white line.
Yeah, these new Fury modifieds that they have here on iRacing, they have tremendous side grip. And so what I mean by that is you can go a lot harder and a lot faster in the corners versus the old one. And so you're going to see that play havoc with some of these cars breaking loose coming out of turn 4, coming out of turn 2. You're also going to see some of these guys have so much wheel input that they're going to just bounce off the center of that front straightaway wall. And when they do that, well, there's nowhere to go other than back into the cars behind them.
Yeah, hopefully we won't see this, but obviously with the decreasing grip in the towers, 250 laps, it is a possible chance of us seeing someone, at least somewhat bounce off that front stretch, which technically on the outside, 24, wow, that was close. Technically isn't 100% straight, it goes out a little bit and then comes back in, and that obviously does help, but it only helps ever so little.
Yeah, 250 laps here is tough. Hopefully we see these guys, at the drop of the green, they get single filed. They really need to stay single filed and kind of get these laps under them. And then we'll start seeing possibly pit strategies. If we see cautions early on, I don't expect to see these guys in the first 25, 30 laps unless they have damage. But they have a long race to maintain that race speed and keep their car clean.
Speaking about keeping the car clean, Jeff Dooley tried a new line there through turn 3, was riding the wall. Wasn't really fast for him, so he decided to stop and pull out of the car. As we pretty much close off the practice session here any second. And it is going to be interesting. How are these guys now adapting to the qualifying field, and how they're able to get close or beat their practice times.
Yeah, Stefan, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't put much stock into qualifying here at Five Flag Speedway because it is a mental race. Mental, meaning that you've got to keep the car clean. You've got to manage your tires. So starting up front, not necessarily the wise move. But with that being said, we've got 18 drivers tonight. This is the last race. They're going to go for broke. So starting in the back, well, that could play havoc too. So we'll see what they do here on qualifying.
First guy to set his qualifying lap will be Joseph Segala, who we're riding on board with. Number 81 already in turns 3. Now coming out of turn 4, let's see what he can do. On his first run, that was a 15.313. And already getting toppled by Chris Foster and Bruce Pearson. Chris Foster putting in a 15.214.
Yeah, look for your faster guys like Minato to kind of hold back last minute to lay down their lap.
Foster with his second lap was a little bit faster, 15.184 he puts in. Right now about 400th faster. Never mind Rick Webster coming out of nowhere, 15.107. Zach Murphy 15.157. That's first and second place for them right now. Let's see what Bennett can do. Garland Bennett, that is. Coming out of turn 2 now into turn 3. Obviously very short lap, only 50 seconds. Let's see, Bennett a little bit wider through turns 4. 15.5, that was quite slow.
Yeah, let's take a look at Harden here. Well, he's done. All right.
Bennett is coming over the line for a second lap, crashes it, so that's not gonna count for him. That was 2 cars actually crashing there on the start finish straight. Obviously not connected to each other because they can't see each other. Jeff Dooley, whoa, big wobble there, is not able to stop it before the start finish line. Joshua Banks, that was his first lap, I think.
He just took the green there.
Yep.
He's got a good line coming at it too. Turn 4 is important. You really need to keep it low and middle off. He kind of came high out. We'll see what kind of lap time he gets there.
15.102, putting himself 1,000th of a second in front of Rick Webster to take the provisional pole. Let's see what he can do in his second lap. For some people that was faster. It is for him too. 15.083. First guy with under a 15.1.
Let's go on board here with John Minato in the 771 car. He showed good speed and good, he's not going to get good speed hitting that wall.
And that might have also damaged his second lap because he hit it so late. He might have hit it when he was crossing the start-finish line. Did it count? It did count for him. 15.129. Third place for him. But that, yeah, probably not the best, or not what he hoped for, but at least not too bad either.
Yeah, Stefan, probably not what he hoped for, but I tell you what, I do like the third starting position, especially here on this half-mile track. Being on that inside and the drop of the green flag when the pace car comes in, that is the catbird seat. So look for him to be strong right on the first lap. Good job there.
Overturn, he was already, or he crashed in his first lap, so obviously that second lap wouldn't have counted either way because he crossed the finish line crashing. So, yeah. Maybe he tried something that didn't really work for him. It seems like Wilkinson will not race here today because he's out of the session. So let us shoot you over to your starting grid for this 250 lap race in the Tour Modified. So we're going to do it one row at the line here. Joshua Banks, he is your pole sitter here today. 15.083 did the trick for him. Rick Webster only a few hundredths actually, behind in second place.
In third, we have John Minato. Outside of row 2 here, we have Zach Murphy in the fourth position.
Chris Forster, a 15.184, put himself into fifth place. And the 24 of Jeffrey McConey is going to round out the outside of row 3.
In row 4, we have Joseph Segala. And outside of Joseph Segala, we have Brian Neff.
Bruce Pearson puts his number 96 in ninth place. Geoff Dooley will round out your top 10 here today.
James West will be starting in 11th. Outside of him will be Brian Freese.
Brandon Pirtle in 13th with a 15.395. Garland Bennett only putting in a 15.503, putting himself into 14th place.
The California driver, Jeffrey Harden, starting 15th. Outside of him, on the outside lane, R.D. Vaughn.
We saw him try his impression of stopping on a dime, a late overturn. 17th place and last driver on the grid here today, racing out of England. He will start in 17th with his number 16. Not taking the green flag here today will be Brandon Wilkinson, also racing out of New England, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the strength of field here. We're looking at about 2,700 plus. We've got some high people. Joshua Banks with a 4,100 and some people as low as 1,300. So this is going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, as always, there will be a lot of clutch moments here today. And speaking about clutch moments, let's talk about another sponsor of this series, Clutch Graphics, the iRacing paint shop for all your custom paint needs. Not only are they one of the best premier graphics designer on iRacing, they also donate a free paint to the winner of today's race. So a big thanks to them for helping putting up this show here tonight.
Stefan, the pace car lights are out. We're getting ready here. Remember, we need to see these guys go single file if we're going to have a good 20-30 lap segment. So let's see if they do that.
Joshua Banks will most definitely look to have that good jump and clear Rick Webster going into turn 1. Rick Webster probably has a little bit of a different thought on his mind for that start, but let's see how Joshua Banks, the number 36, can do his start. Holds back, still holds back. Now he goes. A little bit of a jump start by Rick Webster, but he's not able to do anything with that, and he has to slot in behind of a few guys as he has a terrible run through turn 2.
Boy, I tell you what, Webster was the biggest loser there. He drifted up high in 1 and 2, and he's now back in the 6th position.
Finally slotted in there behind, in front of Joseph Segala. Already a little bit of a gap there to Bruce Pearson in 9th place. The first real side-by-side is between Brian Neff and no longer Brian Freese, who took 11th place away from him.
Yeah, Brian Neff was another driver who got a bad start. Both him and Webster lost 4 positions on that start. Here we are on board Neff here. Everything looks fine. I don't think he hit anything. I think it was just a matter of, that top line has not built up rubber yet. So I think they're going into no man's land right now. But look for that middle groove to come in later on.
We saw it a few times already, that the middle groove started to rubber up, and these guys really take to that advantage. But Jeffrey McConey now challenging for P4 of Chris Forster. He's on the inside of Chris. Let's see if 24 can stick and make that P4 overtake happen. hill, looking here the inside the blue and the black car. A little bit of a wobble there. Oh!
Yeah, the 14 car of Chris Foster. He got the short end of that deal. And the yellow flag is out.
Lots of people there weren't able to stop their car in time and piled on into that.
Our director's got this replay going quickly. Let's take a look here, Stefan.
Yeah, 24 on the inside gets a little bit of a wobble because of that, pushes up and yeah, just leaves nowhere to go for poor 14 car of who was that, Chris Forster.
Let's take a ride with Brian Neff here and see what he had, what his view was like. Yeah, just man, that's just a sad deal right there. We've got so many cars with blown engines and in the pits for fast repairs and possibly even getting a new car.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm counting about 12 cars, 11 cars that were involved in that crash. Everyone behind not really able to stop in time for that wreck ahead. Was actually quite a track blockage on top of that. So,
yeah, we talked about it earlier. These guys are putting so much wheel input, and the side grip is so, heavy in the corners. They can maintain the speeds, but coming out, that front end does get light, and I think we saw that with him drifting up into that car and just kind of setting a chain reaction. So if you're watching this, if to our viewers, you saw the big one at Daytona a few hours ago, well, here we are with our big one on lap 7.
Not as costly as a NASCAR wreck, but still as dramatic. As
well, they're both in Florida, Stefan, right? I mean, they're only 160 miles apart.
Yeah, I can see that. Florida, or Burrisland, as I now shall call it. Obviously, a little bit of a joke there with Taylor Burris, who is from Florida.
Let's give you a rundown here quickly of the top 5. We got Joshua Banks continuing to lead this. In second, we have Zach Murphy. In third, up 3 spots, Jeffrey McConey. Down 2 spots, Rick Webster. Remember, Rick had that bad start. And in fifth, we have Jeff Dooley, up 5 spots. Pace car lights are out. We're going green this time by, Stefan.
Yeah, biggest mover just to close that off. Leigh Overton from 17th up to 9th. So he was quite lucky there with that wreck, avoiding it. And yeah, let's see what Joshua Banks can do on this first restart of tonight. The pace car sweeps into the pit lane. Joshua Banks still waiting, gets a notch there. Now he goes. Zach Murphy getting caught off guard there. But a 24, a little bit eager with that throttle and really pushed Joshua Banks on that start.
Let's see if we can get these guys to go single file here. We got Webster again hung out on the outside. That middle groove is not there yet. Let's see if he can get tucked in here behind Dooley, who's up 6 spots in the 4th position.
In behind, we still have a battle that is for P7 between Purtle and John Minotto.
I tell you what, Dooley just got into the wall hard coming out of turn 4. Again, these cars will want to push out of turn 4.
I've seen that a few times already. Brian Freeze close. Oh, that's another wreck. No yellow for that because Neff spun onto the pit lane. So yeah, that was very lucky, but Brian Freeze slamming the door there, and let's see how that's
got to be careful here.
Everything stays clean there, Neff.
Here we're on a replay here of Neff.
Yeah, just
looks like he brake checked and the car kind of just turned left.
Yeah, he had to brake for the contact up ahead, and he... Oh, Bertel! Oh, what a save out of turn 4. Ryan Fries has to go the long way around him as we're back up front with... That is Rick... No? Where's that? That's Zach Murphy, sorry. Similar cars. That is your second place driver still. Zach Murphy trying to hang on to Joshua Banks, but seems like he's not really able to.
Tell you what, Joshua Banks is turning some blistering laps here. Hopefully he can keep that pace. He's got clean air. He's out front. He's in the preferred spot. So right now these guys behind him, if they just hang in single file, they may be able to catch him. But so far, Joshua Banks he's got the pace.
A little bit of a fight now for P4, involving there between Rick Webster, who now gets a little bit of a dive by Jeff Dooley. So Dooley taking back P4. Oh, Minotto pushing nearly into Rick Webster down the outside of turn 4. Rick Webster has to settle now for P6, getting swarmed by both drivers.
You know, it's interesting. We saw Webster in practice doing really good and somewhat even in qualifying. But his setup is not liking this late evening race. It just doesn't want to turn and rotate down low here in the beginning stints of this race.
The guy that's really struggling right now is Brandon Pirtle, who just managed to hit the inside wall at turn 2 and now once again super loose out of turn 4. Really struggling as he's in between a battle pack for P10, which is a full lap down on him.
Yeah, and right behind him is Lee Overton. Oh, and Lee gets into the wall.
These guys really struggling for grip as Joseph Segala is trying to now make a move on Brandon Pirtle.
Now let's keep an eye on Brian Neff. Brian Neff right now, he's a lap down. He had an incident early, but he is coming up through the field. Remember, they do get the lucky dog on a caution, so the next caution, Neff could be in good shape. Neff is right there amongst some heavy traffic.
And look at that. That is all because of the struggling Brandon Pirtle there in 8th place. Joseph Segala managed to go past him. Look at how deep Pirtle was there. Oh! These guys really on the edge here. 2 by 2. 16 nearly running into the Garland Bennett there. Now it's Lee Overton. And these guys really need to get settled down, otherwise we might see soon a caution evolving here. But Bennett now trying to move around Pirtle.
If they don't get settled down, I think the Butcher may help them get settled. Obviously the Butcher being Neff.
Overton really loose on the outside of turn 4, nearly going into the wall twice. Still on the outside of Brandon Pirtle, who just is really the cork in the bottle here of all of these guys.
Neff has taking a look on the inside here. He's got the preferred line, but he can't get off that corner. The turn 4 it really is a mystery. Sometimes it will stick, sometimes it won't. These guys are also fighting that solid A pillar, so it's kind of really hard to see where you straddle that line. Right there is the preferred line, and he gets it. He gets a good run coming off that corner. Let's see if he can get down here in 1.
Just no way around Brandon Pirtle right now. He's just completely struggling for grip and everything. He's about to get 2/10 slower than anyone else right now on the track. As it seems like we also have now the battle for P3 back on. Actually, that's the battle for P2 as Jeffrey McConey has been reeled in by John Minotto, and he goes now to the inside. No, that's a no. Or maybe as McConey pushes wide, and now Minotto is set on the inside.
Yeah, Minotto's got that, he's got that groove down low. Yeah, he almost drifts up into McConey there. This is a great battle here between these two.
Not trying to boot a block pass. Oh, I think that might have been a little bit of netcode there between the two. No harm, no foul though, and the 24 continues on, but lost that position there. And now Jeff Dooley trying to do the same as Minotto.
See what, Zach Murphy is heading straight to the back here. I don't know if he hit the wall. Okay, he's in the pits right now. Let's take a replay and see what we can notice here. So we're on board here. And he's up high. You know, honestly, this may be a strategy call. And if it is, it's actually a pretty smart one. We're on lap 41 right now.
Yeah, rather interesting, but at the same time, I would have gone to 50 laps and split it into 50 lap portions here. But either way, his strategy call, and Jeffrey McConey still heavy under pressure of Jeff Dooley for that third place.
Yeah, these guys are running about 7/10 slower than they did at the drop of the green flag initially. So I agree, Stefan. A lap 50 would have been a good break in segments, but we'll probably have some.
Boy, sorry for that, Jeffrey McConey. Super sideways out of turn 4, and now Dooley just sniffing that exhaust gas of McConey.
Yeah, I think he's going to put the chrome horn here. They're certainly doing a little argy-bargy here through the corners.
One thing that did do help Rick Webster is all this fighting. He's now caught up to these two guys as Dooley tries. Oh, that's the
chrome horn. Dooley puts the chrome horn on him.
Webster gets a piece of that too.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, Dooley's down low, and you know, maybe been a little bit too early for that, but hey, we have a caution. This may be a good, you know, someone that benefits from this is Brian Neff. Brian?
Okay, so one thing that's rather interesting. Joshua Banks in the pit lane, and John Minotto too, but Jeff Dooley stayed out. From P3, he's going to take over the lead. So that is rather an interesting strategy call, because everyone else in the top 5 did go to the pits. James West also 6th place, 7th place, Brent Purtle in the pit lane, which...
Here comes Dooley now down pit lane. I think that was just miscommunication with him and his crew, but that's costly right there. Jeff's going to go from first, relinquish that lead to the end of the lead pack.
He actually was going to go into the pit lane and pulled out again. So, yeah, rather interesting.
Brian Neff's also in.
So everyone pits, that is obviously quite clearly, because it is pretty much the 50 lap mark once we go back on to racing speeds.
Yeah, all these guys are taking gas and tires. Obviously expected. Like I said, their lap times were down about 7, some of these 8, 9/10 of a second. So fresh rubber is certainly going to help. Tell you what, Clutch Graphics will be busy fixing some of these cars after this race.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of paint missing so far. Seems like right now Zach Murphy, Joseph Segala, Chris Foster, James West, they all will get a wave around once they are allowed to do so. Once we have one to go, there we go, lights are out. They go past, and Joshua Banks will be the first car lining up behind the pace car.
Brian Neff is back on the lead lap. He's at the end. Oh, and I say that and he just smacks the wall.
Did he though? Oh yes, he did, yeah. Ever so slightly. Let's see what he does. Joshua Banks goes pretty late once again. John Minota got caught off guard there. 24 of Jeffrey McConey moves past it there to 13. Wow, that was close.
Dooley was on the inside of Minato there. Boy, they almost touched. Here we are passing for second. 24 on the outside, the 771 on the inside. 771's got that preferred line coming off the 2 down the back straightaway. It is John Minato who takes second place.
As James West pits in. So a little bit of a strategy call for James West, but obviously no issue for these guys as Jeffrey McConey in danger of also losing the 3rd place to Jeff Dooley, who looks really lazy at this point of the race, as Rick Webster also in pit lane.
Yeah, we're on board right now.
Oh, car in the wall. The 6 of Brent Pirtle there in the wall comes down and also hits the 29 of Zach Murphy.
Here we are looking at the replay of this. We're on board with Brandon. He knocked that concrete wall down there. Did not bring out a caution, surprisingly.
As the caution comes out.
Like I said, it brought out the caution.
Ryan Fries has a big wobble down this front stretch and not able to keep it out of the wall.
Let's take a look at the 88 car here of Brian Fries. He's down low between Neff. Oh, and he just breaks loose coming out of that corner.
I wonder if that is just too much throttle, too much rear input.
Let's watch his hands here. I think that, Stefan, that's exactly what it is. He got on that throttle a little bit too early and broke that rear end there.
Really does seem like that. While we were on the replay for the first incident, we also had an incident with RD Vaughn. We don't need to go there because it was pretty much a copy-paste of what we were watching. Just that Vaughn tried to pit in, lost the car because of that, smacked up high, and nearly wrecked Zach Murphy with that.
We've got Brian Neff and Garland Bennett, Jeffrey Harden, Bruce Pearson, John Minato in pit lane.
And Artie Vaughan just drove a little bit into the outside wall. So these guys really, I think they need some lit up or self-lighting, outside walls, because they are smacking them so hard.
Yeah, I was riding on board with Brian Neff, and he went down pit lane, but there were a lot of cars down there, and he just drove through pit lane, so maybe he missed the stall. It looks like he's coming in. He's coming in pit lane again. He's slowing down. Yeah, here we go. We're on board here with Brian Neff. Let's see what he does here, if he's taking fuel or fuel and tires. Actually, fuel and tires would be the way to go. He's got nothing to lose. He's back in 16th. Good call by our director. Yeah, I think he just missed his pit box.
He missed his pit box. I think he wasn't looking. He realized it too late, and then actually turned for the wrong black and yellow pit crew. So, yeah, a little bit of a double trouble there for Brian Neff.
And he did not get tires.
I think he didn't have time for tires because the cars are already coming back through turn 2 and the lights are out.
Maybe he did get damage under that last caution where he hit the inside wall there.
As it seems like we have a little bit of a hiccup as Jeffrey Hardin has thrown the caution again. because he accidentally set the restarts to single file, so a little bit of an oopsie there for Jeffrey Hardin. One more lap to get everything sorted into double file. Seems like some people are also getting some wave runs because they had to double pit. So, who was that? James West nearly driving into the 13 there of Jeff Dooley.
Yeah, Stefan, you called the last race of this series, and well, these guys are driving like it. Let's give a shout out to Lee Overton. He's up 14 spots in third position. What an incredible run for this New England driver.
As we're now 3 wide, 4. James D. West proceeds to drive around the pace car. Very interesting, as Jeffrey Hardin has thrown a caution again, so we will have another lap. Seems like he wants to get everyone back on the lead lap or something like that.
Yeah, I'm quite confused here. Really never seen this before. And, you know, I just mentioned Lee Overton up 14 spots. He's in the pits, but again, he's another driver who either A, missed his stall or is going to the end of the longest line.
Probably just at the end of the longest line here for him, as the pace car now finally pulls off, and everyone is confused by that. As, oh, there's a Gordon effect, and 4 wide down the front stretch there.
John Minato got hit hard on that restart. He went from second. He's all the way back now in fourth. And he's... Well, I think these guys are confused. You know, they got the caution keep coming out. The pace car was still out. I think it was one of those incidents where John just, well, fell asleep and the rest of the field was ready.
Yeah, he was falling asleep there and then realized what is happening. Throttled up, obviously, then braked again to not overtake first place, and then everyone also went full speed behind him, but they weren't able to avoid him, and then that created all this awkward situation at the restart. But anyway, we were finally on the way. Joshua Banks leading ahead of Jeff Dooley, who is staying rather close behind him. And then we have Rick Webster down in 15th place, who is filling the gap a little bit between Brandon Purtle and Jeff Dooley.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say, what this restart created is we have a lot of lapped cars between our leaders.
Yeah, again, not sure why that happened, but John right now, Minato is in fourth. He is marred in lap cars. He gets by that lap car, and he's now on the tail of Brandon. He passes Brandon on the inside, so John has made up some ground here. He's in third position.
Forster really wanted to go there also to the inside of Purtle. Purtle really under attack now of Forster, who is 2 laps down on Purtle. Seems like Purtle really struggling right now on his tires. Don't remember if he took tires or not in the last stint, but it looks like he didn't as much as he's sliding around. Oh! There's 6 of Purtle. They're sliding into the sliding Chris Forster. Both of them keep it together after they hit, and they keep on going. No caution out. Jeffrey McConey now moves past Purtle, who is falling down in track order, but not any positions, because the next car in line, the next 2 cars in line are 2 laps behind him.
We're riding on board with Purtle, but Stefan, you keep screaming like that. We may have to visit this Melissa's hair studio on the back of Brandon's car to fix that hair if you're pulling it out.
Man, At the end, oh, Pirtle once again hard into the wall. Another time hard into the wall there for Pirtle. Really having trouble now finding the tarmac as he's going into the concrete barriers now. Cuts off Brian Neff there. Really not his moment of the race right now, as he also lost the position to Zach Murphy. Not missing anything up ahead. Joshua Banks opened up the gap. 2.2 seconds now down to Jeff Dooley. And
let's look at this battle between Murphy and Brandon Pirtle right now. Pirtle had those two back-to-back into the wall, but it looks like he's regained his easy. You got to be careful there. Brandon seems to be back on pace here. Murphy did a good job on that outside. That middle group may be coming in right now, Stefan.
Yeah, it does seem so. And now Brian Neff on the back of Pirtle. Obviously, Neff is 4 laps down on Pirtle. Neff tries to go to the inside of Pirtle, does so easily. Let's see if he can keep it on the inside. Yes, he does. Keeps the speed up and goes past Pirtle. Or does he?
Now, Pirtle just did a major crossover on him. I think Neff is prepared to do the same thing.
Oh, in behind. Segala and Fries are touching their 4th position. That is the battle for 9th place.
Yeah, let's keep the cameras rolling here on 9th and 10th. Good battle going on between Segala and Fries.
That's all created because of the slow Pirtle, who is just a big. I don't even know. Oh my word, Pirtle just not able to keep it off the wall.
Well, if Pirtle goes over the scales, he's going to be about 300 pounds heavier with all the concrete on the inside of those rims, because he's been knocking these walls down left and right. Ric Flair on board with this Whelen modified car here at Pirtle.
Yeah, if Pirtle continues like this, pounding the walls left, right and center, we're not gonna have any walls remaining around 5 legs. Joseph Segala moving to the inside of Brian Neff now. That is a lapping maneuver. Puts Brian Neff in between the battle for P9. Or does it? Because Brian Fries now goes to the inside at turn 1 as Chris Forster has disconnected from the server. So his race is done. Brian Fries nearly pushing into Brian Neff. Oh, Fries losing the car there.
Let's stay here and watch this battle with Neff. You know, Neff is, he's back there marred at a lap down. I thought he got his lap back, but he's trying to make his way through. This car of Brian Fries kind of holding him up. I know Fries got by on the inside, but Neff is stronger down low. As I say that, Brandon Pirtle continues to just knock down the walls. We don't have to go there. But there he is. There's the big one. Pirtle hit that wall hard coming out of 4. Caution flag flies here on lap 92 for Brandon Pirtle, who is, well, he's hit the wall a little bit too hard this time. Let's take a look at this replay of Brandon all out there by himself. I think it's just one of those, again, just too much wheel input, and pushes out and slaps the wall here. Here he comes out of 4. Well, didn't see it that time. Brandon, here's some good TV time for you. There it is. Coming out of 4. Rides that fence. I'm actually surprised, Stefan, no one got collected in that other than Brandon himself. Let's see see what Harden had a view here. Yeah, these guys did a great job of rolling up. I think we're going to see everyone on pit road now. Banks is out. Minato is out. Banks had a horrible pit stop, 33.5 seconds compared to Minato of 25. While we're under caution here, let's give you a read down of the top 10 positions. In first, we've got Joshua Banks. John Minato in second in the 771. New England driver in third, Lee Overton. Up 14 spots. Lee's had a great evening. Jeffrey McConney is in fourth position. Zach Murphy in fifth. In sixth, it's Joseph Segala. In seventh, Jeff Dooley, the Virginia's driver. We talked about him earlier. He was pretty aggressive, but he's staying on pace there. In eighth, Brian Freese. In ninth, James West.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Lee Overton, he tried to go into pit lane and then spun his car out in pit lane, entering pit lane. Spun it all the way to the inside, middle of the track. What in the world? And he just disconnected. He's gonna enter the pit lane and then proceeds to spin it out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's frustration or possibly maybe an animal got on his lap.
Either way, that has thrown quite a brick into everything as... yeah, John Minato obviously is still second place, Jeffrey McConey third place, Zach Murphy fourth, Joseph Gala fifth, and the last car on the lead lap, Jeff Dooley in sixth place, who now gets hit by R.D. Vaughan under caution.
Alright, well the pace lights were out on, or the lights were out on the pace car. They're back on again. Now they're back off, so let's see if we go green this time by here, Stefan.
We should go green here as Brian Neff in 14th place is right now behind the pace car. Jeffrey McConey in first place for some reason. Zach Murphy. Everyone is everywhere right now here on track. Pace car probably gonna go to the pit lane now. There they go.
Brian Neff's on the inside here on the front row. Gets the launch off of 4 and it's a yellow flag again.
Yeah, probably because of Brian Neff not overtaking the pace car there.
One thing we need to keep in mind, this is a 250 lap race, but they only have 54 minutes left. I don't think we're going to get the 250 laps in this evening.
Yeah, we have to say there is the time limit of 1 hour 30 minutes. We're already about 40 minutes in as once again we go live for the restart. Right, Jeffrey McConey in first place ahead of Zach Murphy, Joseph Segala, Jeff Dooley. Where is Joshua Banks? He's in 6th place now all of a sudden.
Marconi's leading this group coming out of 2 here. He's got heavy poundage of Zach Murphy behind him.
Well, at least... Sorry.
Zach Murphy's just looking for a mistake. Jeffrey kind of washing up here, coming out of 2 and 4. Let's see if Murphy can capitalize on that.
The good thing is this did create a lot of excitement now between Jeffrey McConey for the first place. Also, Joseph Gala and Jeff Dooley are fighting it out for P3. In behind, Sean Minotto and Joshua Banks are fighting it out for P5. Joshua Banks moving past Minotto now, or at least trying to do so for that 5th place. Can he do it? Around the outside as Murphy goes into the wall.
Yeah, these two are fighting hard. They're both going into wall. Let's take a look at Dooley and Segala here in 3rd and 4th. We're riding on board with Dooley.
Joshua Banks still side by side with Minotto. Minotto now finally able to defend his position, but Banks now going to the inside of him. Can he make it down on the inside of the 771? Yes, he can. There he goes up to P5. Maybe Minotto trying to do something? Nope. Joshua Banks has his 5th place secured.
Here comes Murphy on the back of McConey. McConey drifts up high. Here comes Murphy on the inside, coming across the start-finish line. Into one, they both go side by side. Who has the preferred line? McConey is on the outside. It's stuck out. Murphy is hanging on to that low line. He does not want to give up that low line. That is the preferred line coming out of 4 here. Across the line, it is Murphy in 1st, McConey in 2nd.
But it seems like the outside is time to really rubber in as McConey now tries to take it to the inside. Not able to do so. Jeff attack Murphy able to break later. Jeff Dooley now in 3rd place, caught up to the battle pack here. And also Joshua Banks has caught up to Joseph Segala for 4th place, bringing John Minotto alongside with him. Joshua Banks goes to the inside for that P4 of Joseph Segala. Segala tries to close the door, but too late. And also too little as Joshua Banks goes past. Now also John Minotto goes past. They move up into 4th and 5th place. Jeff Dooley trying to do the same thing now with McConey for that 2nd place. Not able to do so, so he has to stick it behind for 1 more lap.
Yeah, Dooley is Dooley's on a mission here. You can see McConey drift up. His car does not like the low side here for whatever reason. But here comes Dooley on the inside. He's got that launch off of 4.
McConey was super loose there on the outside, and now Dooley really there. But now he has to worry about Joshua Banks as they go single file again. Joshua Banks with a good run out of turn 4. Dooley has to slow down, and that's going to move him from P3 all the way down to P5.
You know, our leader for most of this race, Joshua Banks, in 3rd. I still don't understand what happened there on that last caution, but he is making his way back up. Considering his lap times, he's about 2/10 faster than the rest of these guys. Look for him to get by McConey here.
Yeah, as said, it was a little bit of an awkward situation, but Joshua Banks being in P6 created a lot of excitement, and sure is still doing so because he still has to move through the field here. Next target, as already said, Jeffrey McConey, the number 24, the blue 24 machine. Joshua Banks, good run out of turn 2 already to the inside of him, and he's gonna move past McConey, trying to do an undercut there. And who is that? That was Artie Vaughan moving out of the way for everyone. Jeffrey McConey now all the way down in P4, nearly getting challenged here also by Jeff Dooley, but he's not able to capitalize on the slides off. Oh, never mind, that's a big one. No caution out though. Now it is.
Yeah, the McConey took a hard spin and hit here.
No, that was all between Jeffrey McConey director there. The caution came out when he was sideways.
Let's ride on board with Jeffrey McConey here, see if we can see what happens. Going into 3 and 4 here. Yeah, he just popped it off that wall, and then Dooley got into the back of him and lifted him up.
Yeah, Jeffrey McConey, he had the signs early that he's gonna push wide, but refused to get out of the
car with Dooley here. See what Dooley sees. Yeah, there he goes up high into the wall, bounces off. Wow.
Dooley nowhere to go. nowhere to go there for Dooley, but I'm a little bit surprised about the 24 there because I said McConey had the signs early that he's gonna push up and just refuse to go off the throttle there.
Interesting call here. John Minato stayed out while the rest of the field went into pit road. I think this will be a great strategy under caution, but as soon as that green flag flies, Stefan, he's going to wish he had tires as they go into turn one.
Well, we shall see what he's planning with this strategy. Maybe he's trying to go to 150 laps with this strategy, but he's gonna be on very old tires by then.
Yeah, I'm not liking this call here. But cautions have bred cautions here tonight. We just come across at lap 123, almost halfway through this race as far as laps go.
Brian Neff had, I think, some hardware issue because out of his stall he pulled hard left, went into the dirt that is behind the pit crews, and then drove out again. So I think Brian Neff's wheel did reset there, or something like that, as he's making his way now back around the field.
Neff is now, he just regained 1 lap. He's 5 laps down. But he's in 11th position, so the race is still young here.
Lights are out on the pace car, the Mustang FR 500S.
At this point, the lights in the pace car haven't really meant much.
John Minota, he's gonna take the restart on the inside line. Joshua Banks on the outside. Let's see what John can do here. Goes hard on the loud pedal and lays Joshua Banks in the dust, who is able to defend his second place from Dooley, who is able to defend his place from Jeffrey McConey.
Remember, Minato is on old tires. Banks is on new tires. Let's see how it goes here.
Probably for the first lap, the old tires, never mind.
And there goes Minato. Yellow flag is out on lap 126.
I just want to say John Minato will have a little bit of a grip advantage for the first 1 or 2 laps because his tires are hot. But that really didn't last long.
Yeah, as we take a look at the replay, they're hot, but they're also out there picking up all the slag and marbles. So let's take a look on board with McConey here. Coming out of 4, there's Dooley in front of him.
I have to say Joshua Banks, he was quite lucky on that one because he wanted to go down low because he thought that Minota is going to lose it up high, and nearly chased Minota into another wreck there.
We will come back here for more action at Five Flag Speedway. Right now we'll take a break.
Welcome back to the SIMCRO Short Track Championship here at 5 laps in the Tour Modified as we get ready to go green yet again. Joshua Banks on the restart. There he goes. Now the 36 opens up the throttle once again. Jeffrey McConey already on the inside of Jeff Dooley. The 24 making the move down and move him up to second place. And now Zach Murphy trying to do the same through 3 and 4. And also, who is still on the inside? That's John Minot also going through and on trouble.
Oh, and there's 24 of McConey is around and getting hit left and right.
That?
Looks like Zach Murphy took the chrome horn to him coming out of 2.
Garland Bennett hasn't got a chance to avoid that. Tries to brake, but no can do. Runs into both cars.
As we ride on board here at McConey, take a look at, okay, so there is the 29 car behind him. Coming off a 2 here and bam, right there in the left rear, spins him around, and unfortunately he's going to get hit again. Well, we didn't see that. Maybe we'll take a look from Murphy's angle here. Yeah, Murphy's closing rate from center off was just too good. It's a lot greater than McConey's was.
Now this is gonna put up a question of, do they have to take a spare car or some repairs at least, because I'm not sure if they still have the T car ready for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we lost Brian Neff. He's disconnected. Brian was in 11th position, 5 laps down, but he's nowhere to be found. Let's ride on board here with Minato, who's in pit lane. Gets away. Minato with a 24.5 second stop. John's currently in 5th position, down 2 spots from where he started in 3rd.
McConey already 2 laps down, still in pit lane. Seems like he is taking damage repairs, so he is already in his T car.
We haven't talked much about Brian Freese. Brian has kind of kept his nose clean. He's been around these accidents, but hasn't been involved in them. So Brian's currently up 7 spots in the 5th position. The Carolina driver having a good night.
Having a very good night, as you can see there, and as mentioned, from 12th up to corrected P5, as Zach Murphy nearly goes into him as we get ready for another restart. Here today, Joshua Banks and Jeff Dooley will be your row number 1, Joe Segala and John Minotto row 2.
But Dooley's going to want to get down low here on this start. He's right on the outside of Banks. Let's see if Banks gets the jump. Green, green, green. Here we go.
Pretty sure that's your question answered. John Minotto, horrible start for him. Lost out completely there. Already back about 3-4 car lengths on the top 4 guys. Even Ricky Webster 5 laps down for a better start than him.
Not quite understanding these lap cars in between these leaders here. John Minato, he's heavy into traffic on below the 21 car. He gets by the 21. Now he's got to work on the 55 car of James West. James West right in front of him there. James is, well, he's a lap down.
And quick news on Jeffrey McConey, he had to disconnect, so his race is done. Sadly there with that last wreck, so he was already in his T car and probably too much damage to repair in time. As John Minotto nearly runs in the back of James West there. he now gets past him, so his sights are finally set on Joseph Segala for that third position. Oh, both nearly going into the wall there.
Yeah, Monato's on a mission here. Moving forward, he's all over the back of not Steven Segala. Sorry, Joseph Segala. Here he comes looking on the inside. If he can carry it into one, and he does, he'll get that position.
Yeah, great momentum there for John Minotto on the inside. Makes it uneasily. Now, next car in line is Jeff Dooley. It's actually C1 set lap time at 15.341, 3/10 faster than Jeff Dooley. Even faster than your leader of Joshua Banks that last lap. So very impressive at the same time with that overtake being faster than Jeffrey Banks, as now he goes past Jeff Dooley, who also made it a little bit easy there.
Yeah, kudos to Jeff. He moved alongside. He knew John was faster, so that was a great call. Don't let Banks get further ahead than where he is now. So again, look at the times. Banks and Minato almost exact times coming across the start finish that time by.
And so look, we also have a battle going on for P5. That's between Brian Freaks and Zach Murphy. A little bit behind your leaders, but still fiercely battling it out there.
Let's take a look at the lap comparison here on the leaders. We've got Banks and John Minato. You can see, you know, they're turning pretty identical laps. That last time by, Minato was almost a tenth faster.
Yeah, last lap nearly 2/10 faster for Minato. So I'm wondering if Banks is just saving tires.
Well, you know, it could be a case with all these cautions and pit stops. John's making adjustments to that car. As this track is kind of getting cooler, you know, late at night, more rubber, maybe he's up in the air pressures on the right side, giving him that longer run.
Yeah, he's continuing to close in as we go back to that P5, before mentioned P5 battle between Brian Freeze and Zach Murphy. Much closer there than the leaders, but once they come together for that fight, we will most definitely take you up there.
Yeah, Zach Murphy was involved in that last caution, if you remember, with the 24 car of Jeffrey McConey. So I don't know if he got a new car or had fast repairs there on that under that caution, but Zach is moving up again here.
Oh!
Freese gets loose coming out of 4.
Right out sideways there, out of turn 4. Surely not gonna help the tires there. Zach Murphy really on the back now and nearly pushes also into the wall.
I would bet Brian Freese kind of moves up and lets him go by. If he was smart, hopefully these guys in front of them are not getting too far out there. He's got a run here coming off of 4.
Yeah, Zach Murphy does have the runs, but just always pushes so high up to the wall that he does a little bit of a safety lift to not run into the wall. Of a stalemate right now as Brian Freeze a little bit faster through the turns, and then Zach Murphy slowing it up a little bit more through the turns, but really gets this drive off.
Let's go to our 3rd and 4th place battle here. Jeff Dooley and Joseph Segala. Segala has done a good job of catching up here. He's turning, him and Dooley are turning pretty close lap times. Dooley with a 5:32 and Segala with a 5:70. Let's see what they do at the line here. You'll see it here on the screen, their lap times.
Dooley did it a little bit of a dirt track style there out of turn 4, a little bit sideways. Once again, ever so slightly sideways out of turn 4. Really only can call that dirt track style, not really drifting it, but that is gonna heat up his tires.
Zach Murphy's coming into the pits here.
Interesting strategy call.
Well, we saw him, battling there with Freese. I don't know what this is about, if he had an incident or he actually came down pit road.
Well, he's not taking tires or doing anything. He is in his car still.
All right, let's go to the leader of Joshua Banks, who's out front by 2 seconds over John Minato.
Sorry, I was watching Dooley again, and once again super sideways out of turn 4. Now he's starting to struggle for the grip on his rear tires.
Yeah, watch Dooley's line in 1 and 2. He is getting that car below the white line, trying to get it to rotate. He's struggling with the car right now with major understeer, and so getting it in that off camber below that white line will help the car rotate, but it could also help rotate way too much and spin.
Joseph Segala, though not really able to close in. Same story pretty much for John Minota versus Joshua Banks, who seems to really has adjusted his car for the short runs, and now he's paying the price in this little bit longer run.
We talked about 26
Oh,
laps
speaking,
ago.
John Minota into the wall.
Yeah, John Minota gets a piece of that concrete wall.
Oh, he's spinning out. Ooh.
Let's go on board here with John and kind of see what happens coming out of 4. He's down low. He's putting that wheel input. Look at that. Look at those hands. He's got a lot of wheel input, and it just drifts up and bam, right into the wall there. That was a great angle. You could see the driver's hands back and forth. We call those the Michelin Man hands. The pure white gloves back and forth, sawing at the wheel. But that doesn't slow John down. John just turned to 15,575. Joshua, well, he turned to 533. So their laps, I bet if we looked at a 5-lap comparison, they would be within 1/10 of each other.
Well, you wish and shall receive, as Sean is gonna put that up for us. John Minota, 15.547 last lap, and Joshua Banks a 15.778 as he had to lap Brian Freese. There you can see it on your screen. Dooley versus Segala is starting to heat up. As it looks last lap, Dooley 2/10 slower than Segala. So Dooley is also starting to struggle with his car.
Yeah, I think all these drivers, at least Dooley and Segala, they are struggling with major understeer. Understeer being tight off of exit. They're trying to find that apex to where that car will rotate. They both seem to be trying to find it in different places, but their gap is staying pretty consistent right now.
In behind, I wanted to call out a battle for P6, which technically is a battle for P6 if we ignore the 3-lap difference between the two cars. But they are driving very close, and it seems like Rick Webster, being 3 laps down on James West, is actually looking to try to get around James there and continue on his drive.
Stefan, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Dooley just had a major slip up. Segala is there. Segala is definitely able to hold that lower line, but Dooley is just struggling with exit off, and so he got loose really bad coming out of 2. He got loose coming out of 4 last time by. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, you can see how Dooley has to be that little bit careful on the throttle out of the turns. to not spin his tires and not to get loose too much.
You can see Dooley taking a higher arc in these corners. He's trying to get that modified down low to the apex, but it just won't. It drifts up coming out. Look at it drift up here, coming out of 2, close up there to the wall. Segala running that. Oh! There, Dooley almost lost it again. I tell you what, the hard charger and hard driving award goes to Dooley. He's got his hands full. Segala right now just waiting for Dooley to make another mistake to capitalize that. They're coming up on a lap car of Brian Freese.
Let's see what happens with Freese and Dooley once they do catch each other. Jeff Dooley really having his hands full once again, right out sideways out of turn 4, and that really is now starting to hurt not only his lap speed,
oh, and the car slows up in front of him. Oh. Freese, Brian Freese, he got loose coming out, and Dooley had to check up, but I think Segala was the biggest loser of that because he checked up, I mean, extremely hard. Let's take a look at this replay here with Freese.
Yeah, you're actually gonna see that he is gonna start to get loose actually through the turn already.
Looks like Freese was already loose there in that shot. We'll take another look here. He comes down and low, and he's trying to get back on that gas, and he gets on too soon. The rear end just kind of whips around, and he has to check up. Segala, like I said, he was
John Minot
got a caution
on
on lap 188. Yeah.
John Minot tried to take it onto the apron to get that turn through that turn 4, but too much, and actually spins himself out, tanks Lepper into the outside walls, and he goes not top over, but nearly. I can see it hard into the wall.
Yeah, the geometry on that front end is it's gone. Hopefully John's got a spare car here. Leaders are in the pits.
That's gonna be one wave around for Rick Webster here. So he's now gonna be 4 laps down on your leaders. Joshua Banks in the pit lane, taking tires. Garland Bennett has returned to the racetrack just now. You're able to see him drive past Joshua Banks. 58 laps down, served his repairs. Great to see the car back out.
All these guys are taking 4 tires and fuel. We have 60 laps to go here in this 250 lap event. Stefan, let's take a quick rundown of the top 5 after pit stops here. Looks like everyone has taken 4 tires and fuel, and some have even opted for repairs, John Minato being one of those. In first place, we have Joshua Banks, who has led most of the evening outside of about 20 laps. In second, we have Jeff Dooley. In third, we have Joseph Segala. In fourth, we have John Minato. We just saw Minato. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if Joseph Segala actually is in third place. No, he is. He just led the leaders by though, so I'm not sure what happened. That Jeff Dooley just got his black flags cleared by Jeffrey Hardin. But yeah, now we only have Jeff Dooley and Joshua Banks remaining on the lead lap.
It looks like the time limit has been relinquished over to laps, so it looks like we're going to get the full 250 laps in this evening.
We still have about 20 minutes remaining on the time limit. John Minotto now obviously he's going to move down to 5th place, or actually is he, because even Brian Freese is in pit lane and sitting in pit lane, so it seems like that Rick Webster is going to pick up 4th place here.
Pace car's in. We're going green this time by, Stefan.
We are actually already green flag, so yeah. These guys have started a race. Joshua Banks in the lead, obviously. James D. West somehow is in second place. On track, Jeff Dooley is in second place, obviously in the classement. Now goes past James West for that P2 on track. Joe Segala third place, Rick Webster fourth now officially. And in fifth place we have James West now actually, because he now also moved past Minotto and Fries.
Yeah, unfortunately John Minato is still in pit lane, 7 laps down. He had some severe damage there on that last caution. We've got Joshua Banks and Jeff Dooley who are on the lead lap. Those are the only 2 cars currently. Then we have Jazumbak and Evans in third and fourth.
Yeah, we have Joshua Banks in first, 1.6 seconds out of Jeff Dooley. Joseph Segala already 1 lap down. Rick Webster fourth, 4 laps down. James West still racing in fifth, 5 laps down. Brian Fries sixth, 6 laps down. And he is then, yeah, John Minotto 7th, 9 laps down, but obviously he is repairing some damage. Next car out still racing is Bruce Pearson, 25 laps down, and Garland Bennett in 10th place, 58 laps down, still racing, and he's also, I think, the last car racing. Yes, he is.
So we have 10 cars left on the track, and Joshua Banks, Jeff Dooley on the lead lap. Joseph Segala could possibly get a lap back if we have another caution. We have completed 200 laps here of this 250 lap event.
Joshua Banks proceeds to open up the gap to Jeff Dooley. And yeah, I have to say, John Minotto, he obviously made those changes because he really did pick up his pace there in the last stint. But I feel like because he gambled on that shorter stint and actually got a longer stint, he really had to push that car. Because of that, ran into those understeer issues. Because of that, went down below the apron, and yeah, sadly wrecked himself out of this race.
Right now we've got a battle here with Pearson. Well, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. I'm riding on board here with Dooley. Dooley again is fighting that loose condition. Center off. Director's got us on riding along here with Jeff Dooley. Coming across the start-finish line, going into 1. That groove is definitely starting to move up since the start of the race, although I don't think Dooley and his crew have stayed up with the track conditions here. So he's got that loose center tight off, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better for him as he turns a 15.517.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help him because that is going to ruin your tires majorly quick, especially that loose middle. I always hated when the car was like that loose middle. I need to have a car that is rather planted through the middle, maybe even a little bit plowing, so I can have a good drive off the corners.
Well, Stefan, you said it best. I mean, you've got 2 issues here. You've got loose in the center off, and then you've got a snap loose coming off because the front end is just plowing. Normally, you fix that first one, and it'll take care of the second one for you.
Bruce Pearson just moved past Brian Fries. Let's actually see if they maybe do us a favor and battle a little bit. Saying that because, to be honest, we don't have a single battle remaining on the track, with everyone being a lap down on each other except for Jeff Dooley and Joshua Banks, but Joshua Banks controlling that gap right now, nearly already up to 3 seconds.
You Joshua Banks fans, Joshua is continuing to lead out front. He's got a 3-second lead over Jeff Dooley, keeping his car clean. Probably the only driver tonight that has kept his car clean, followed in second by Jeff Dooley. And we see now that Bruce Pearson has passed John Minato, who's currently still sitting on pit lane to capture the 7th place position.
And it seems like we will be easily stay under the 1 hour 30 minute race timer for these 250 laps. Although we are getting rather close now. It's already 1 hour 15 minutes have elapsed here today. We're expecting to have another like 10 or so minutes remaining of this race if we stay green until the end. Brian Fries, Garland Bennett moving to the inside of Brian Fries. Goes past and makes that happen. Brian Fries seeming to not have much interest in losing that track position.
Garland Bennett, that Carolina driver, he's down 50 laps, but continues to run here and is in the top 10.
Let's see, he is on lap 160 and now was into the wall. Joshua Bennett now on lap 220, so that's 31 laps, sorry, remaining. He can move up, let's see, he might actually get past John Minotto. If he is able to complete every single lap that is still remaining. He will also get... No, he will not get past Bruce Pearson, sadly, for him. Because that will make 56 laps and he's 58 laps down. So unless he suddenly drops the hammer and unlaps himself twice from Joshua Banks, he will finish in 8th place here today.
It's interesting to see the top two here. Both Virginia drivers, as Dooley gets severely loose coming out of two. It's interesting to see the Virginia drivers. They seem to do really good in this car, even the SK. So a shout out for the Northeasterners here this evening.
Yeah, Dooley is starting to make me scared about his safety there, because one mistake too much and he's gonna end up in a wall, and that is gonna make him lose his 2nd place here. Because if I remember correctly, Dooley has already taken his T car out.
Our director informs us, just a shout out to Justin Bonsignor for winning the race in Riverhead Speedway. Congratulations to him. Justin's car was actually scanned by iRacing, and that's the car you're seeing currently here on GSRC.
Garland Bennett moving 1 lap down once again on Joshua Banks. So he is now 59 laps down. Still 20 laps to go for him to catch up to John Minotto.
Garland Bennett is just in pit lane right now. He's got nothing to lose. He's got 8 laps on Zach Murphy, the car behind him, who's still in pit lane. So might as well go in and see what happens here. He probably thought, you know, this is the end. Might as well just park it.
He's taking new tires, but the thing is, this pit stop is going to take so long that he's going to lose another position. There he goes, Joshua Banks. So with that, Garland Bennett now won't get past Minotto, not only because of that, but also Minotto back on track right in front of Joshua Banks.
The 771 Lionel Racing Modified is back on the track. John Minato with a great stop of 12 minutes and 6 seconds. That was sarcasm. No offense to John's crew there.
Hey, if you can get a Manta turned around from a broken suspension in 23 hours, then you can get an tour mod turned around in 12 minutes. I actually don't really see too much sense for John Minotto driving around, because he's not going to gain another position. Bruce Pearson out of reach for him, nearly 20 laps down on him. So Minotto just doing laps to do some laps.
As we have Dooley passing Brian Freese right now on the inside, coming out of 4.
Freese
As Dooley
also getting
gets into
passed
the
by
wall
Segala.
there. Dooley's going to come up on John Minato here shortly. As we ride on board with Jeff Dooley. You know, Jeff Dooley has had a lot of camera time tonight, Stephen. He's been around quite a few incidents. I'm not saying he caused them, but he's had an interesting night.
Did in very deed have he caused, I think, one of the incidents alongside with another one where they both kind of moved into each other. But yeah, pretty much everything so far has been a racing incident. We have to say this, as he now moves past Minotto, who nearly ran into Dooley there.
Yeah, Minato didn't take too long to get in behind that rear bumper with that chrome horn. So interesting. But again, an impressive run on Jeff Dooley, up 8 positions, starting in 10th, running second. Your leader still 6.3 seconds out front. Joshua Banks has had an incredible evening. No incidents, no accidents. He got marred in the back under that one caution, but continued to fight his way and regained the lead, and has been out front ever since. Great job for him and his team.
Joshua Banks coming to lap 243. So as a caution has been thrown for John Minotto. John Minotto onto the apron. He proceeded on turn 2. Because of that, spins himself out hard into the... You know what? That's pretty much a copy-paste of what happened to him in turn 4.
Guys, I know there's a replay going on, but this is going to be an interesting strategy. Do you pit? Do you not pit? The only two that can benefit this is Dooley and Banks. So I think you're going to see whatever Banks does, Dooley does. But Dooley may throw it to the wind and go into pit lane, as we see Banks now going down pit lane.
Joseph Segala, he did not go into pit lane, so he will move back onto the lead lap. Might be interesting here, because he now proceeds to drive past the pace car.
You know, if you're Jeff Dooley and his crew chief, right now you want to change tires, no fuel, and you want to bump up those air pressures, because you're going to have about a 2-3 lap shootout here. So hopefully they're making air pressure adjustments on Dooley's car. We'll see.
Everyone is on the checks, obviously. Joseph Segala, I'm pretty sure he will proceed to pit in once.
Banks is away. Dooley's away. I tell you what, that was close pit stops. I'd like to see the spread on that.
Yeah, Joseph Segala, he's right now in the lead, obviously, because Banks and Dooley were in pit lane. But Segala, I'm pretty sure he will take to the pit stalls too to get on the same strategy as Banks and Dooley. But we might see a third horse in the race for the lead.
Look at this pit comparison our director has put up. Both cars pitting that last time by. You can see there the Banks actually had a better pit stop coming down and exiting pit lane. So Good job by both of them. Obviously, they're the only two cars on the lead lap. I guess Joshua Segala, he's now gotten his lap back. But hopefully these guys will get to go green with no lap cars in front of them. We'll wait and see here.
Obviously, Joseph Segala has to move to the end of the longest line, which he has done now.
Well, for him, so, that'll be third position. So that's actually a great spot to be in. But Segala did not pit. And so that's going to be a problem. We already see the middle group coming in. Dooley's going to be on the outside on this restart if they let the lap cars go by here, and it looks like they do.
Yeah, pace car lines are out. Joshua Banks lines up on the left side. Jeff Dooley on the right. James West is going to be third place on this restart. Brian Freeze fourth, and then Joseph Segala, who obviously had to line up at the end of the longest line. Rick Webster and Bruce Pearson are catching up to the field just now.
Watch Dooley on this restart here, Stefan, as they go green here. He's going to tuck in right behind him and try to get a crossover coming out of one.
Jeff Dooley tried to do a jump start there on Joshua Banks. Did not succeed, so he had to back off again. But look at how Jeff Dooley is stalking that rear of Banks. Oh, Banks!
Oh, Banks messes up there. Oh, this is exactly what we called during that caution lap. I think Dooley did make an adjustment. He seems to be strong on this short run. This is the last lap.
Pretty much a green wire checker there, and Banks gets the win there on that one. Yeah, great defense there by Banks, even though he had that wiggle out of turn 4. Jeff Dooley not able to do anything. At the line, 0.381 seconds between them. Joe Segala takes third place here today, and yeah, with that, the racing might be over here in Pensacola, but the show is far from done. We're going to step aside for just a few moments to take a breather, but we will be quickly back for the post-race show, where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. SimRacing channel here today on this fine evening here in Pensacola, and winning that fine evening was Joshua Banks. We saw it on the last lap, shootout pretty much between himself and Jeff Dooley, only 0.381 seconds between them. Jeff Dooley with quite the ride, gaining 8 positions through this race. Joseph Segala ends up on the lead lap 2. 1.9 seconds behind them from 7th up to 3rd. Rick Webster, 4th place, 3 laps down. James West from 11th to 5th, also no small feat. 5 laps down. Brian Fries, 6th. Bruce Pearson, 7th. John Minota first. Bruce Pearson also the first car not to finish today's race. John Minota in 8th. Garland Bennett, he drove out once again, but then proceeded to park the car because he saw that John Minota drove out again. Knowing that he will not overtake him, he takes 9th, and Zach Murphy will finish today's race in 10th place.
Coming in 11th, Jeffrey McConey. Jeffrey had a tough evening. Brian Neff finishing 12th. Brian Neff was strong in the beginning, but heard he had hardware issue. Did rejoin the race, but then fell back out. So tough night for him. R.D. Vaughn in 13th. In 14th, Lee Overton. Brandon Pirtle in 15th. Jeffrey Hart, another driver who had a tough evening, down 160 laps in 16th. Chris Forster in 17th. Lost 12 positions from his starting spot and down 167 laps. And rounding out the field, who did not even show up for the event, Brandon Wilkinson.
And here to talk to us is your winner, Joshua Banks. And Joshua, first of all, congrats on a new paint on iRacing, sponsored by Clutch Graphics. And yeah, about the race, I would say a job well done.
Well, thank you, buddy, man. That was some hard racing there. I had to give it that, being able to go up there and do what we did tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Now, the biggest question is, did you change something on your car for that very last run, or did you just keep it the way it was?
I actually kept it the way it was. I made a small tire pressure adjustment mid-race. I thought that would help it a little more, but it actually didn't do any better, so I reverted back to my original set. And I think that with it cooling down a little bit, maybe, or putting the rubber down, it actually rode a lot better. It just felt good later in the run, so it just rolled. I kept it the same, didn't really change much, and then just kept running my line, and it just rolled, man.
Yeah, don't fix what ain't broken, as they always say. Joshua, you led for pretty much the entire race here. How does one go out like that and be as dominant?
You just got to keep your focus. Each lap, every lap, just make sure you don't screw up and just keep the car straight, and just make sure you don't overdrive the car either, because if you overdrive it, you're going to mess up sometime, because it'll come to you. And we just made sure we kept that thing straight, kept the tires enough to where we'd had a little bit left, and get on and do what we did tonight, essentially. And just, like I said, just keep your focus, man. That's the biggest thing. If you lose focus at any point, you're pretty much going to screw it up.
Well, Joshua, congrats once again on your win. Now, before we let you go, who gets it done for that 36 machine?
Oh, man, I just got to get a shout out to my teammates, man. SWA Motorsports, we out here to get it done and get each win every race we can get. So just shout out to them boys. Always great support team, and supporting me and what I do in the modifieds, and hopefully continue to keep this trend going and start winning some more races in these things.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you there. One win already down in the books for Joshua, as John now will proceed to talk to Jeff Dooley.
Jeff Dooley finishing second tonight, up 8 positions from his starting place of 10th. Jeff, you had an interesting night, sir. Tell us about that.
Well, I could tell you my car was good for about 3/4 of a lap. Then seemed like every exit off a corner, I just got sideways, as you guys probably saw. But crappy long run, good short run.
Yeah, Jeffrey, it's interesting you say that. We probably had the camera 50% on you all night, because you were marred in the battles there as Joshua kind of just took off out front. We noticed on that last restart, though, Joshua came down pit lane, you came down pit lane, Segala stayed out, obviously, to get his lap back. Did you make any last-minute adjustments there to air pressure or anything for that last restart with the 2-lap run?
I did, yeah. I was going to do whatever Joshua Banks did. He came in, so I said, shoot, I might as well come in too. I bumped up both right sides, a good pound and a half on each for the short run. Knew it was only going to be 2 or 3 laps, but bumped those up. That was the only adjustment I made. But he got loose coming on. What was that, off of 4 onto the straightaway, and then he took my line away. But good run for him. I felt like for me, like I said, short run car, not the long run, and I think we might have had a good 80 or 90 laps for the longest run. So my car was just greasy. But good race.
Yeah, we definitely saw you tight in center, loose off, even sometimes it looked like even an understeer off. So you had an amazing recovery. I would say probably in upwards of 30, 40 times. Is that about right?
How many laps was it? 250 races or laps? I'd say it was about 250 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's your second place winner. Jeff Dooley, Virginia driver, coming home second tonight. Stefan, have you caught up with anybody else, or?
Yes, we have one more person to speak to, Joseph Segala. 1.9 seconds finishing behind in third place. Now, Joseph, I would say wide race, but good race.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race, very good race. I am incredibly proud of how I did in this, considering I wasn't even supposed to be in this race originally.
Oh, how come?
Up until last week, I hadn't driven the tour modified cars at all, so there was, no information about how I do in these cars. But I had asked Jeff if I could be in this race after my performance in the SK race last week, and he was gracious enough to let me in here.
Well, good thing he did let you in here, because third place is no small feat after not having driven a single lap before this race. But summing up your race, how would you do that?
Got into some trouble at the beginning of the race. Was involved in a miter crash there at the beginning. I was glad I was able to get the car fixed, get back out there, and be able to finish in the top 3. It was quite exciting. I was on the lead lap and then a lap down, back on the lead lap, then a lap down again, back on the lead lap. Thankfully, I was able to finish on the lead lap.
Well, you sure made it interesting there once again, because you were once again on the lead lap, but sadly you had obviously to cede your position there to Joshua Banks and Jeff Dooley before the restart. But yeah, Joe, last final words. Who gets it done for that number 81 machine?
It's a solo act, to be honest. I got quite a few friends on the iRacing that have helped me figure out things about setups and help teach me how to set up the cars. I have a lot of information, still don't know how to use all of it. A lot of it's guesswork and lots and lots and lots of testing. But I'd love to have some teammates, just no one's wanted to join yet.
Well, slap on a hire me sticker and you sure will find someone. But yeah, Joe, thank you very much for talking to us, and once again, congrats on a third place.
Real quick, is it all right if I give a shout out thank you to a few people?
Sure, go ahead.
Just want to thank Jeff and SimCRO for putting on the event, the Crew Shop and Next Phase Electronics for sponsoring this, and you guys, of course, for putting on the telecast. I think it's awesome that you guys do this, and also thank you to everyone that watches us and appreciates what we do out here.
Well, thank you too for coming out to the track. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. But yeah, Joe, once again, thank you very much for talking to us, and congrats on your third place. And with that, we have to say goodbye for another time to SimCRO. As always, we would like to thank everyone on the track for a great show, and especially Jeffrey Hardit for organizing this league and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. For your short trackers out there, if us, GSRC, will be very happy to return for Season 2 of the SIMCRO Short Track Championship. To find out when that happens, please do visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com, as we will have all the news over there once confirmed. Obviously, you can also find us on various social media platforms with a Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or on Instagram at GSRC_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our Aura series are right now sliding across your screen, so do check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. If you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that red subscribe button just below this broadcast. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Joshua Banks took away the victory here today. With that said, until next time, stay well and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.